I do. That was the nice thing after the game on Saturday is nothing out of the ordinary happened overnight. I mean, the swelling continued to go down, and he practiced both on Monday, and he'll practice today. So, he's much better than he was 4 or 5 days ago.
What has Boston College done well lately? What makes them a challenging team?
Gotten healthy. I think if you look at some of their previous games, they're missing 3, 4, 5 guys at a time, and we know what a challenge it is when you miss 1 or 2. Just trying to game plan and think about things that we were going to do when Malik was going to be possibly out against Clemson. I can't imagine having 4 or 5 guys that aren't able to practice, that aren't able to play in games. So they're finally getting to the point where they're healthy and getting some continuity. They've played really well the last 2 games. They should have won at Pittsburgh. At least they were winning almost the entire game and lost on a buzzer beater. And then they did the job against Virginia Tech, who's played awfully well this year. So that's more the Boston College team that we know we'll see.
Ryan said it can be kind of a low-energy place to play. What do you remember about the game last year and just anything like that?
That we lost, that Kai Bowman hit some really tough shots, and we couldn't score. That's what I remember the most.
Chris, when you go back to the place the next year after you lost the previous year, can you usually sense a little bit extra fire in your kid's belly?
I'm not really looking for that. I'm just looking for, the right type of preparation, looking for the same amount of energy in our practice and the same focus that it takes to win. So, I think if you're a competitor, you certainly remember past performances against different programs or different players. But they're a lot different team. We're a lot different team. And, the quest is to be better than Boston College tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Derek Thornton was a top 20 kid coming out, played that year at Duke. Had a great year there. He started so many games. What do you see now? I'm so sure you watch games
right
then. What do you see now, and how has he gotten better, or was he doing different?
Honestly, I don't remember him much earlier in his career. I was so focused in the league that we were playing in at the time. So, he's experienced. You talk about always wanting that in a point guard. He has the ability to score it, not just set his teammates up. And so his ability to do things with the ball, being able to contain him, important, really important.
Chris, have you seen something different in Darius, maybe even before the last 2 games as far as maybe preparation and, a mental side of things, because he's really starting to play well?
Yeah, I just think that he hasn't let his practice habits be defined by his, the results in the game, or maybe lack of playing time in certain games, determine his outlook or his preparation, or his practice attitude, and that's been incredible. It's been awesome for our team. It's a 180 from a year ago, and good things generally happen to guys that really put in the time and keep having the right attitude. And that's exactly what I've seen with Darius. And so I'm really happy for him. And, our team needs him to continue to be consistent and, be a guy that we can count on whether he's playing the 1 or the 2.
Is Darius' three-point shooting something that you all have worked a lot on, or is this something that he was capable of doing but just didn't do a lot of it?
I'd say it's something that he's worked a lot on. From the time I've gotten here, I've always felt like Darius is a really good shooter. He has a really good pull-up game, and that's a little unique. Coaches are always trying to get their team to work it and pass the ball and make the extra pass, and so generally that leads to guys taking shots off the catch. And I think Darius is probably stronger at taking shots off the dribble. So we have to give him a little bit of that rope. But it was great to see, like, some of the shots that he made the other night were off the catch. And he hasn't always been the guy that when he had a clean look, even shot it. Sometimes he'd dribble it. Sometimes he'd jab. He'd jab step at a guy that wasn't guarding him. And, I think he's becoming more experienced, more confident in that area. And it's really great for our team because he can shoot the ball. I mean, I know he was down here talking about how much of a better shooter he is than Ryan, and I won't go that far, but like he's not that far off. He can shoot.
On the defensive end, I know Darius and Fresh in the league have always been really great, but now having Jordan and Sam and some of the other guys be able to, play more consistently on that end, how has that rounded out your defense as a whole?
Well, I mean, I just think that you're as strong as your weakest link, and not to say those guys are the weak links, but we have certain defenders that are really hard to score against, that do a terrific job, and other guys that are developing. But if one guy breaks down, it doesn't matter how hard the four guys are playing, on and off the ball and communicating, if one guy's not giving the effort. And by and large, our team's had five guys do what they need to do on each and every possession.
Chris, I think somebody mentioned it to Ryan before, that BC really defends the three well, did it against Virginia Tech. If that's the case, then how important is paint touches for you guys? I know it's always an emphasis.
Yeah, it's always an emphasis. I mean, Popovich didn't play a whole lot against Virginia Tech. He's a guy that's sort of coming off a back injury, and because they played Mitchell at the 5 so much, it allowed them to switch on and off the ball, and their versatility allows them to, be able to guard, point guards with their 4 and 5 minute times. And so that really limited, Virginia Tech from getting clean looks. And that's something that we have to prepare for, whether Popovich plays, 5 minutes like he did against VTech, or whether he plays 35 and now the game becomes a little different. We have to be able to get that ball to the paint, whether it's a post-up, a drive, a set play, you name it.
Last game against Clemson, you had with the team such a large deficit, you guys were leading by, having more players coming and playing, including seeing DJ and Tim playing at a high level as well. What have you seen from their progression so far? Are they on track, or are they expecting to be this point of the year?
I just think, most freshmen around the country, are usually on an upward trajectory. And they're going to have times where their play, doesn't maybe match the game prior to. It's a long season for young guys. It's a long season. The time that we put in through August, September, October, November, December, it becomes long for freshmen. They're not used to it. The intensity, the length of the season. And so you're going to have lulls in their play, but you want an upward trajectory as time goes on. And I think David and Sam are on that pace. And, I think the other guys are as well. You just guys don't get to see them do it because they haven't earned the playing time over the veterans. But Sam and Dave, and like all our freshmen, are continuing to progress throughout the year. So does that match my expectations? I expected each of those guys to improve, but I didn't have benchmarks for each one of them as we headed into the season.
Chris, did your pass ever cross with Kobe?
Nope, not at all.
Ryan said it's been kind of a weird mood around the program, just, in light of what happened. I know you've addressed it a couple times, but just how have you addressed it with the team, and what's the mood been like?
I just addressed it with the team. I shared, how I felt and have felt. I wouldn't say it's a weird mood around the team. I'd say it's a weird mood around the country. And so, I think we're all in, disbelief and sort of shock, and, how do you make sense of what happened? But, I think it's important as the leader of our team and program to sort of address to our team that, each guy's going to process things a little differently, and how they see life and how they see one another. And, these experiences are very, very moving, and it's incredibly sad. And but I don't think that Louisville basketball is any different from everybody around the world, how they feel.
The jersey ceremony last night?
That's cool. Thanks. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.